Good evening to you, listener at home, and I hope that you're having a good time wherever that you are. We are on the buzz zone, which I actually explained to you earlier that the buzz zone simply means the business zone. And the business zone simply means that we are in Ga-Rankuwa. So Ga-Rankuwa is divided into zones, right? So that's why we said it's the business zone. So that's exactly where we are right now. Look at your time, it's 9 after 7 o'clock, and we are together up until the hour 8 o'clock. My name is Joe, and I promise you that I'll deliver nothing but the best content for this show. And introducing my guest, and let me just allow my guest to go on air and just to introduce himself. Good evening, sir.
Good evening, John, and to your listeners as well at home.
Thank you so much. Please introduce yourself shortly and just tell people who you are.
Yeah, my name is Sipho Batyi, all the way from the Eastern Cape. In short, they call me Sipho.
Okay.
Yeah, but I've got so many names, Joe. Let's stick with Sipho for now.
I like it. So, Sipho, who's Sipho?
Wow. Hey. All right, Sipho originally is from a rural farm in the Eastern Cape called Alexandria.
Alexandria.
Yeah, it's very small. It's between Port Elizabeth and Grahamstown or Port Alfred.
Okay.
Yeah, it's on the east coast of the Eastern Cape.
All right.
So I actually studied in Port Elizabeth.
Yeah.
I did my high school there, as well as Technicon University.
Yeah.
And then I graduated as a mechanical engineer in 2000.
Okay.
I then joined the mining industry up in Johannesburg. I used to design and develop crushers.
All right.
So I come from a long way in this industry. And then late in 2002, I then joined the automotive industry.
2002.
Yeah.
Okay.
And then that's when then from there I never stopped. I've been in the industry for 20 years.
Okay.
Basically in the automotive industry.
Yeah.
That's Sipho for you.
All right. So, Sipho, what we normally do on this show is we do what we call the bump and grind. So we bump and grind, like, issues that can help somebody who wants to be where you are now, or who's dreaming to be where you are. Yeah. Remember, this is a youth month, so we're trying to motivate our youth as far and wide as possible. So what I'm just going to ask you is just to go through your life basically, but through questions. Okay. So I hope that you will just relax and make sure that you answer them as fully as you can. So why did you decide to start your own business?
All right. After graduating, I had a vision that one day I'll be a businessman. I didn't know what type of business I'll be doing at the time.
Okay.
All I knew is that I'll be a business person.
Okay.
All right. So for me to become a businessman, one thing came into my mind was I need to gain an experience first. I've got the knowledge. Now I need to gain an experience. It's very difficult when it comes to experience. Unlike academic, is easy.
Yeah,
just prepare, you study, you do everything. But with experience, is something else. So what I've done over the years, I was fortunate to meet certain people in my life who actually motivated me to be who I am today.
Okay.
There's a few individuals, some of them are not in South Africa anymore, some of them went overseas.
Okay.
But so when I started doing the mines, I became a boiler maker. Okay. It's hard work. It's definitely hard work. And I used to work shift. I used to have people that proposed to me at the time. I was still young, coming from, I'm talking about old people than me, older than me. I used to manage them at the time.
Okay.
Yeah. And then from there, and then I moved. When I left the mines, I decided, because at that time when I left the mine, I met my partner. So I was like, no, Sipho, I can't take this anymore. Come back home. I said, no problem. Then I joined the automotive industry after that. Now, in the automotive industry, I always say to this, in fact, to the younger generation, you know what, we all we are graduates, we are engineers. One thing I've noticed, I've learned from me, I've actually this is what now I'm going to actually tell all the other people. It's always best to start right at the bottom.
Okay.
Don't go big corporates. Go small corporates first.
Yeah.
The advantage of going in small corporates, it allows you to learn from the start of thing till things end to the end.
Oh, yeah.
So that's how small it is. Your small corporates, actually, you gain a lot of experience from finance, logistics, managing people. You gain everything in small corporates.
Okay.
But in big corporates,
Yeah.
you are moving in a path.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you don't have that flexibility of working in finance, working in HR, working in logistics. There's no such thing.
Where you are, that's where you are.
You're gonna stick to that path. I guess that's what people get bored. For me, I was fortunate. I spent most of the time as a tier 1 supplier,
Okay.
or as a supplier to the big corporates.
Okay.
Most of my experience I've actually got it there, and that made me now who I am today. Basically, when I joined the big corporates, the big boys, I was actually well prepared. I was definitely. I remember my first day in one of the big companies in Durban. They were that manufacturers cars in Durban. Yeah, Toyota.
Yeah.
I remember when I started there, actually I was excelling and I was so confident because of my background.
Oh, yeah.
And then from there, that vision I had back in 2000 came back
Okay.
in 2013.
Oh.
And how it came back, I started to panic.
Okay.
At first I had panic attacks, and I was thinking about it.
Oh, yeah.
And then at some stage, me and my boss, we did a performance appraisal. I said, hey boss, let's sit down. We need to sit down.
Yeah.
Because clearly I'm not happy. And he looks at me and said, but what do you mean? You always smile and you're always talking. I said, no, I'm not happy.
Yeah, looks at the deceiving.
Yeah, so we sat down.
Yeah.
And one thing we discussed was, I said to him, look, I'm planning to leave. Okay, I'm planning to start my own company.
Nice.
Okay. And first, for me to do that, I don't want to leave you in dark.
Yeah.
Dark.
Yeah.
Let's do a succession planning.
Yeah.
Okay. So what we did, then we managed to get a number of students. I think it was about 5.
Okay.
So graduates. So my role was to train those graduates, and one of them was going to be my successor.
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So we did that from 2013, and I ran the student, I trained them, everything went smooth. And then at that time, there was an opportunity at AIDC, okay, looking for the entrepreneurs.
Yes.
All right.
Yes.
But now, the catch for me was, initially, before I even went to AIDC, I had to, first I did a business plan. I presented that business plan at GP.
Okay.
GP, they told me straight, Sipho, with a person with your kind of skill in the automotive field, we won't be able to support you. They suggested, or they recommended that I must go to AIDC.
Okay.
In Silverton.
Okay.
Okay. So on the same day I drove to Silverton.
Yeah.
To find out what is the program is all about. Because GP, they are saying I must come to you guys. So they explained it to me that every October, or after 5 years in October, they advertise.
Okay.
I said, oh, okay. You advertise. Then they told me I must be on the lookout on this particular date for this advert. I said, okay, fine. So really, 2013, I waited. Whilst I was waiting, I was training the my students.
Okay.
Then that time came, 2015. Then we did some sort of a presentation. Okay.
To them?
Yes, to us.
Oh,
They put in about 40.
Okay.
40. To get in is difficult, I must say. They brought in 40 people to this room, and then they presented what is the program all about.
Wow.
So basically they told us, you are doing it at your own risk, sir. And out of that 40, 30, they said to me, we're not coming back.
Oh, no.
Yeah, they said we're not coming back.
So only 10 people were
10. The 10 we were talking, I was part of the 10 that were talking. You know what? Let's give it a try.
Yeah.
And for me, I had no choice. There was no choice for me. Because over the years, I was presenting my business plan and it was kicked out. So there was no turning back from that moment.
Yeah.
I then came the time when they were doing interview. They invited me to be interviewed. I said, yes, I'm willing. They invited for interview.
Yeah.
So I came in for interviews, and we went the first interview, and I was told successful.
Okay.
Wow. Okay.
First time in a long time.
First time, yeah. And the second one was the assessment. That one was so difficult. Basically, you get a report. Okay, you have to go through the report.
Yeah.
And then in that report, basically, then there's finance and financials. There's HR.
Yeah.
So you have to look at all the items that are there in that report, and then provide recommendation or resolution to those problems.
Wow.
So then we wrote. It took us the whole day. You start in the morning. You finish at 5, basically. The assessment, and everything's about time. After we submitted that day, went home, went back to work. Then I got a call. Around about December, October, 2016.
Yeah.
They were saying to me, look, we're good to go. You can come in January, we start. I said, what? They say, yes, we're good to go. Fortunately for me at the time, with my student, one of them they were ready now.
Oh, yeah.
So I submitted my resignation, and then we do the interview process for my positions.
Okay.
So I did the interviews, and then we elected one of the graduate, and they became my manager. So
okay, let's just hold the thought. We are speaking to Mr. Sipho Batyi. He says he's got too many names, but he's only going to stick to Sipho. And we are thankful about that. And look at your time now. It's 20 after 7 o'clock, and we are still stuck with me, Joe, on the Buzz Zone, which is the show that normally talks about entrepreneurship, that talks about entrepreneurs and guide them on how to actually get into the space of becoming an entrepreneur. And we know that it's not an easy space, but we are still asking Mr. Sipho a few questions so that we can also help you wherever that you are at home. So, Mr. Sipho, I just want to find out, so now, how did this whole thing started? Like when and how did it start?
Okay. 2017, I joined the program.
Yeah.
And when you join the program, you have to now come up with a new company.
Okay.
At that time, I had 5 names.
Okay.
So one of them that came through was BACS, Batyi Automotive Component Supply.
Okay.
Registration, that one came through. Then that's when all things started.
Okay.
So when you join the program, what it does, it allows you to have a team, finance team, HR team, project manager, yourself, and the team.
Okay.
All right?
Yeah.
So now, as an entrepreneur, you run the whole team. They're not running you.
Yeah.
You're managing them.
Okay.
Day in and day out, 24/7, 365 days a year. Now, it's initially when I started doing this, it looked simple.
Yeah.
When I deep dive into it, and I realize it's hard.
It's hard work, yeah.
It's hard work. And one of the things now, normally when you do a training, you would go, it's outside. It's not in the same environment as practical.
I get you.
This one is real, it's live. The customer is looking at you, is asking you, where is my product?
Of course.
And there's no time for you saying, I'm learning.
Yeah.
The train is moving.
They say
you hit the ground running.
They normally say it's from the frying pan into the fire.
Into the fire.
Yes.
You hit the ground running the same day.
Wow.
And there was expectation. One of the expectations from me was, we need to get Q1, quality performance.
Yeah.
Okay, it's a certification that you get from Ford for quality performance.
Yeah.
So I needed to get that from my tier 1, that is necessary. Tier 1, that was the expectation for me. You need to get the system right for my center.
Yeah.
So I had so many, expectation objectives that I need to achieve at that time within a short space of time. Okay. So we started. As we started going through the program, because of my experience, I think it's key in my space, in my environment of experience. Whatever you do, if you want to be a business owner or you want to run your own business, make sure you got experience. That's very important. Make sure you are comfortable doing what you want to do. It's very important. If you're not comfortable, and you don't have experience,
Yeah.
and you have no knowledge of what you are doing,
Yeah.
of what you want to do, it becomes, you will have fears, you'll have endless night, you're going to stress, I think it's key. That's what I've learned over the years.
I think you mentioned something very important.
Yeah.
You said you were with the big boys.
Mm.
And, when we were speaking just before we got into the show.
Yeah.
And now you sound like one of the boys because you're saying you need experience. For a person who's sitting at home, they're asking themselves, where are we getting this experience?
Yeah.
But we will get to that question at a later stage.
Yes.
So what advice would you give to someone just starting their own business? What would you say to them?
Look, the advice I would give to those people is that, I think, for me, first get education. Really, just get education. My standard is not high. I don't say people get a degree or just get education.
Yeah.
I think metric.
Get to understand things, yeah.
Yeah, get education, get to understand things. When you get education, then you need to decide now.
Yes.
Because sometimes it's not easy just to go and do a business.
Yeah.
I think they first work for somebody first.
Mm.
Work for anyone. Just work, go work. Just understand the dynamics first of work.
Spot on, yeah, you're 100%.
Once you understand the dynamics on how is it to work, then it will give you an idea of exactly what you want to do.
Absolutely.
Yes. Then in that way, it's going to make your life easy. That's what I did. Because I'm a mechanical engineer.
Yeah.
Obviously, for me to work with people is a nightmare.
Yeah.
I'm used to work with machines.
Yeah, exactly.
So for me to go and work, it helped me to interact with people, to
Yeah.
have people skills.
True.
You see, that's what it did with me. So that is it's always very important first. Work for somebody, work hard, and what worries me about us today is that you work for somebody and then you feel like this person is treating you bad. It is not, that's how it's supposed to be.
Yeah.
You must feel bad. They must make sure you feel bad.
You don't have to
You must stand up.
Yeah.
You must just be strong. And because that is the only way you have to learn. Unfortunately, that is the reality.
They don't teach that at home. So it's one of those things that when they don't teach you such kind of things, I mean, you're thinking, oh, life is so bad and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But before we do that, can we just take maybe just a moment, a break, and then we will come back to what we are talking about, me and Mr. Sipho Batyi. And I was actually trying to pronounce his name. It's just not Batyi, like your jacket, Batyi. Yeah. So then I understood that part. So in terms of everything else, stick around. And this is Ga-Rankuwa FM 107.0 FM, and we're still continuing with Mr. Sipho Batyi in terms of understanding and probably just breaking out the stuff of you becoming an entrepreneur. Hopefully you will enjoy this. Hopefully you'll learn a lot. Yeah, right back at it. We are still with Mr. Sipho Batyi and our guest tonight on the Buzz Zone on Ga-Rankuwa FM 107.0 FM. We're enjoying the topic. We're enjoying what we're speaking to him about. And if you are an entrepreneur and you're at home and you're listening to this show, I just guess that you must take out just your journal and just take some pointers, because obviously that's exactly what we want to do. We want to empower you wherever that you are. And look at your time now. It's 19:29, which is 29 after 7 o'clock. You're still on Ga-Rankuwa FM. Mr. Batyi, let's just continue. And I want to ask you this. How do you deal with your fears or your doubt? Like, how do you know this is what I'm doing? Or you're just going like head in first and say, I'll see whatever happens. Let's just take me through that.
Yeah.
What really happens in your mind, in your head, in your heart?
Yeah. Look, as I mentioned before, for me, it's experience.
It is experience, yeah.
It is experience. It comes with experience. Whatever decision you make or solution you come up with, the experience will kick in first.
Yeah.
It will tell you, it will guide you. It will say, you know what, based on my experience, this is how I move forward with this. For now, let's start with fear.
Yeah.
To lay off the fear, it's for me, there's three things I always look at.
Yeah.
First is knowledge.
Yeah.
Okay. Am I knowledgeable
Yeah.
in what I do?
Yeah.
The service I'm offering.
Yeah.
Do I know it in and out? 100%.
Okay.
The product. Do I know it? It's very important. Once you understand, once you know that, and then you look at the other thing, the risk involved. Because fear comes you not understanding the risk.
Oh, nice.
First, understand it, analyze, if this goes south, what do I do? If this goes this way, what? These are the questions you ask yourself. Most of the time, as an employee, you're talking to yourself. You're talking to yourself, trying to find solutions.
And apparently it's actually therapeutic.
Yeah. Talking to yourself, talking to yourself. And you're thinking, you're sitting looking at this problem like, if I take left here, if I do this, what would happen?
Yes.
So these are the kind of questions you ask yourself. Then you come up with a solution.
Yeah.
What makes it exciting? What makes it is experience. If you don't have that experience in what you are doing, it becomes then the fears they escalate.
They escalate,
Then you get worried. But if you do have experience, experienced it before, it makes life easy. Then the decision becomes easy to make the decisions.
But let me ask this. It doesn't really mean that when you have experience, it means it shuts down your fear, it shuts down your doubt.
It won't shut down your fear.
So
what it will do, it will channel you.
It will channel you
to a right path, to the right. Basically, when it comes to decision, there's no decision that is right or wrong.
Yeah.
It's the objective
that
you need to look at. So, what is the objective of doing of making this decision? That's what you're focusing on.
Yeah.
It's the objective around it. That is why when I'm talking to you, I don't want to go to the language of business.
Yeah.
I want to keep it as simple as possible because there are so many things one looks at.
Yes.
There's a risk, SWOT analysis.
Yeah.
There's all kinds. So I don't want to scare the public out there and say, but as you to lay off your fear, rather understand your services, understand your product. Then it will give you. Then you'll be able to make those kind of things.
Absolutely. Then, what routine do you follow each day? What do you do? Like, what do you wake up to do every day?
Yeah. Okay. Yes, this one. My mind just blew. When you ask this question, my mind just blowing all over the place. All right. All right. In a business, obviously, there's planning.
There's planning.
Yes. We've got hours. So you look at the hours of a day. If you're working 9 hours, then you look at the first part of ours, we'll be looking at the planning of things.
Yeah.
Okay. What do we need to support the customer?
Yeah.
That's a question that's going to come. What do we need to support? How do we make sure? What do we need to support the customer?
Sure.
Okay. Then we put data into play. We collect all the data that is required to support the customer.
Okay.
Then we see, okay, this is what we've got. This is what the customer needs. This is what we're going to ship to the customer. Okay. That is the first part.
Okay.
All right. What other issues do we have with this particular product? So we look at those things. What other issues do we have with this particular product? Then we try to resolve to speed up things. Okay. Obviously, the issues will be the quality issues and all that. Then we look at the equipment. What issues do we have with the equipment?
Yeah.
All right. Some of the equipment are failing. Why?
Quality
So these
assurance,
these are the kind of question that comes up every morning when you start running.
Okay.
Okay. And then you got the employee issues.
You're saying every morning?
Every morning.
Ah.
It's not a one day thing. It's you live it, you breathe it. It's not a one day. It's every day. You're checking what can go wrong, what can we fix, how do we make sure it doesn't break whilst we're still running.
Yeah.
So those are the things you need to take care of. Then there's employees, discipline, PPE that is required. There's consumables that you need to look at. Do we have enough consumable to make sure that we're paid in the product? Do we have enough distribution? So these are the kind of things that you follow up. Then you come with the suppliers. Are the suppliers paid? So you have to look at that. If the suppliers are paid, are they paid on time? Are they happy? So it's a whole system.
It's a whole
system. Yes. You're not. That's the thing of becoming an entrepreneur. It's no longer only you now. It's everything's around. It's a bigger picture around you. Then from there comes the family. You have to balance everything. Wow. There's children inside, there's wife inside. So you have to balance all of that. So it's a big package that you do. If you're going to go to becoming an entrepreneur, you must know you're not going to have friends. You're going to be alone. And that is the reality. So you have to work with people.
Science says, or maybe just biology says, or whatever the language is, they say the higher you go, the colder it becomes.
It does. It is cold.
So I've realized that in most businesses, people, they then start, getting scared of you as a boss because of now. That's now how cold it becomes. But I want you to tell me now, to say, in all of that, Mr. Batyi, where do you see your business in the next 5-10 years?
The next 5-10 years, I see myself as a tier 1. That is the challenge I put on my own, to see myself as a tier 1.
Okay.
And for me to become a tier 1, So I've got actually, what do you call it, ideas in place
Yeah.
that I'm looking at.
Yeah.
Obviously, it's not easy to get there.
Yeah.
It's all depends on the cash flow. There's a certain minimum requirement or minimum criteria you have to meet for you to become a tier 1. So once you get to that level, it's big. You no longer think like this. You have to think big.
Oh yeah.
One of the things when some of the members from Ford visited me and they told me, Sipho, yes, you're a tier 3. Your thinking must be tier 1.
Oh.
I'm tier 3, but my thinking cannot be tier 3. It must be tier 1. So I'm putting system in place that reflect tier 1 already.
Okay.
Yes.
Well, in your language, it will mean that tier 1 is actually the ultimate goal.
The ultimate goal.
All right.
But to get to that goal, you have to start practicing now. You have to practice as a tier. You have to have a tier 1 behavior.
Yeah, Mr. Batyi is just saying to us that when you are actually a startup, or maybe you are just a person who's just maybe just a little bit bankable in your business, you just have to look at where you are financially and highly independent, and whereby things will just build up to where you actually build, where you want to go. So in terms of your where you are and where you want to be, what sacrifices do you need to do, or in the middle?
One, there's you have to marketing. It's you have to do a lot of marketing, and I didn't mention it to you. For me to be where I am now, I've sent my profile to about over 100 companies.
Wow.
Over 100 companies.
Over 100 companies.
Over 100 companies. So that's how you, even where you go, your profile is improved. You have to represent yourself. You have to talk about your company. You have to, whatever, at home, every corner where you are, you have to market yourself like 24/7.
Even in your dreams.
Even in your dreams.
You're gonna have to market yourself.
You have to market yourself. Everywhere you are, you have to market yourself. You have to represent that company everywhere you go. That is how then you build up parts all the company, all the way. There's no break. Unfortunately, there's no break.
There's no break. Yeah.
There's no holiday.
There's no sleep.
There's no sleep. It goes on, day in, day out. It goes on. Then you have to network.
Networking, yeah.
You have to network. You have to meet people. Then it. For me, because as I mentioned, because of my experience,
yeah,
my network is so big, so huge. So I get to meet these people individually.
Yeah,
you get to play golf, you get to do this, you get to do that. So
you play golf?
Yes.
Yeah, there's spots for the business people. Yeah, I like
so
that.
You have to meet people in that way. For me, fortunately for me, because I'm African, so for me to meet people at tavern, at everywhere, it's natural, it's normal.
Yeah, it is.
You go to Soweto, you meet people, and then we talk business, and then we move on from there.
Absolutely.
Yes, that's how we see it.
So as compared to where you are now and where you started, have you seen any difference?
It's a big gap.
It's a big gap.
It's a big gap. Where I started, I was handheld by AIDC.
Okay.
Where I started.
Yeah.
There was a lot of support around me.
Yes.
In terms of HR, in terms of finance, in terms of... Now, where I am, it's a different story altogether.
Ooh.
I've got my own team.
Yeah.
I have to pay.
Wow.
I've got HR. I have system in place, quality system in place. ISO 9001.
Yeah.
2015.
Nice.
So it's a different ball altogether. So the gap is actually huge, it's wide. So I make decision, I move on that kind of decision. It changes the game, or it doesn't change the game. But I make decision day in, day out. That has to improve the profit.
But in the same business that you are, I would believe that you're not just the only one, right?
I'm not. Yes, I have a team. As I mentioned, finance.
Yeah.
I've got technical team. I've got HR team. I've got employees. So it's a team. It's a full team, and we all working in synchronization. Because as a business owner, my role is to synchronize that team so that we can achieve it.
Let's now talk about your competition.
Yes.
The people who are probably offering kind of like the same service that you do.
Yes.
How do you set yourself apart from those people? Or how do you really make sure that your business it's actually, you could say that is Batyi's business. That is just a normal business. How do you make that difference?
Fortunately, in the automotive industry, we have systems.
Yeah.
It's difficult. The automotive space is very competitive.
Yeah.
That's number one.
Yeah.
You need, if you have system in place, for example, but when I say system, I mean quality systems, production systems.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking about teams, full complement, staff complement. That is how you set apart from the other businesses. Because once those quality systems are in place, what attracts the customer are exactly the same system that we are putting up in place to set you apart from all the other businesses. So basically, that's how we operate in that space.
20 minutes to 8 o'clock. You're still with the Buzz Zone with me, Joe. We are here just pushing the envelope. That's what I call it. We're pushing the envelope. We're trying to help you as an entrepreneur, as a person who's been dreaming about a business and didn't know how to start, where to start and stuff like that. We're giving tips on this show, and this show is every day, every Monday between 7 o'clock and 8 o'clock, and the intention is to take it between Monday and Thursday, but that is still something that we're still planning as Ga-Rankuwa FM. But we are here with Mr. Sipho Batyi, if you've just joined us, and we're asking questions that might enlighten you wherever that you are. Mr. Batyi, please tell me, what is the hardest part of being an entrepreneur or being a businessman? The hardest part?
Oh, the hardest part is payment, obvious payment delay. There, you feel it.
When you take out the money, you thought this was mine?
Yeah. Then, I'm joking, I'm trying. The hardest part is basically, it's making decision. Making decision. They are hard decision to make. Mm-hmm. Like one of the decisions is when you realize that if you don't have enough funds, if you change certain things, for example, reduce staff. Those are the kind of decisions that comes in very, very hard. The impact on you. Imagine if you have big staff, and then all of a sudden everything reduces. Oh yeah. Yeah, the changes it does really.
It affects everything.
It affects everything in the business. If you're an entrepreneur, it's everything. It's about you get paid. You must be paid. Yeah. And if you're not paid on time, everything is not paid on time. This is not paid on time. It becomes difficult for you to operate. That's it. And then it makes you now. You have to change your mindset. You have to change things. You have to change that. It becomes very, very difficult in that space.
Well, we spoke about the hardest part of being an entrepreneur, right? Now we want to talk about the favorite part of being an entrepreneur.
The favorite
we flip the coin.
Obviously, it's flexible. You've got flexible times.
Yeah.
And then you got time to market the business. Mm-hmm. You've also got time to make decisions that actually improve the business. That better. That you do a lot of things. For example, I've got about 32 people looking at me. So that 32. Now 32. Now I'm thinking to myself, it's plus my family, plus the team. Everybody's looking at me. So those are the that makes you happy. The more they're happy, the more you are happy.
And maybe that's just one thing that we normally undermine. To say, you might be having 32 people that you see with your own eyes every single day, but you don't know behind them how many people they. So you might be thinking, then I'm feeding this 32. The 32 is fitting another 5 each or 3 each.
When you speak like that, when I joined the AIDC Incubation Center, I started with 69. 69 employees.
Okay.
When I finished the program, I was sitting about 285 employees.
What?
Yeah, 285 employees. Now we're talking families now, like big.
Because.
And then from that is assembly. I was doing assembling there.
Oh yeah.
Assembling operation.
Okay.
Where I am, I'm doing painting.
Oh.
Now it requires a specific skill, obviously spray painters.
Of course.
Yeah. So that is why the numbers, obviously, from this to this, they're different.
Oh yeah.
But now the difference between these two businesses is that one, we're producing high volume.
Yes.
With low people, we're pushing about 500 a day. With 32.
Yeah.
And this one, with 285 people, they're also pushing at 500. See the changes there.
It does.
The reason why this one is like that, this one is labor intensive. This one is skills intensive.
Oh, nice.
That's the difference between the two businesses.
And if I may ask you, like, I'm sure as an entrepreneur, you normally have those nights whereby you can't sleep at all. You're like, in the middle of the night, you just find yourself walking around the house. And what are those things that makes you always want to like get out of your bed and just walk around the house? For some people, they say new ideas. For some people, they say, now it's towards the end of the month. And you've cleared that one, but I want to know what is the thing that actually take you off the bed, that you're now walking around the house and thinking to yourself, or talking to yourself like we were talking earlier.
Yeah, it's unresolved problems.
Unresolved problems.
Yeah, when you have unresolved problems, it's difficult to sleep.
It is.
So the night is very long, becomes very long. Because you want to get in the morning and move and start solving that problem. That is the challenge. You see, they say business like is similar to a relationship.
Yeah.
It's actually when you are in a married relationship.
Yeah.
Business is like that.
It is business. Yeah.
If you don't solve a problem there, you won't sleep.
Yeah. No.
It's difficult. You want to solve the problem and move on. The more the problem stays there, it will not come out of
it. It will eat you up.
It will
basically.
eat you up.
Yeah.
And now, when you're an entrepreneur, it eats you alive. And then people are waiting for you. They're looking to make a decision, and there's this thing eating you. So that is why it's very important. And when you have a problem, resolve it.
Yeah.
There's two ways of resolving a problem. That's what people. There's always a problem when it comes to resolve a problem.
Yeah.
One of the things, people want to resolve a problem now, but there's two ways of resolving it. Just to give you an idea.
Yeah.
There's a short term, there's a long term.
Of course.
Start with the short term first.
Yeah.
It will now allow you to think the
Long
short term.
Yeah.
Then come with the long term.
Of course.
Yes. So don't stress too much and not sleep. Start with the short term. Resolve the short term. What measures are you putting in place to resolve that problem? For now, whilst it's still eating you up, it will give you at least some sleep. Then when you come back tomorrow, then you come back with a permanent solution and say, look, this is how we're going to do this thing.
Wow, that is great. And I don't know, I mean, you said something, you touched on the next question that I'm going to ask, but you said, you know, when you size your team, and you said it's more skill,
Yes,
based.
Skill based.
So normally, when you hire or when you outsource, what qualities do you look at?
Look, in our South African space, we're working with labor.
Yeah.
The requirement is always a requirement. Minimum now in terms of employment, metric, you must have metric.
Yeah.
At least you must have that metric. I don't go much on the qualification, but I go more on the attitude.
Attitude.
Your willingness to learn.
Wow, that's great.
It's because I've noticed, based on my experience, you can get a person well educated, well qualified, but unfortunately,
The attitude.
it's another thing. It's the willingness to learn, and I don't understand it. I mean, a qualified person who is not willing to learn, it always confuses me.
No, I think where I actually my age as well. I saw many people in life whereby some people they think that the world owes them something.
Yeah.
Somewhere.
Yes.
And some they just think no, but we got to deliver.
Yeah.
So those attitudes they are actually, there's a thin line between them.
Yes.
But they make or break a person.
Speaking of that, my on the technical side,
Yes.
I've got an old guy. His name is Manny. He's 85. He's way older than me.
85.
He's got experience, like
Oh.
40 years business experience.
Of course.
Now, but his behavior, his attitude around me, we are on the same path. That's how he treats me. He listens.
Yeah.
We talk to each other. He doesn't say to me, but Sipho, I've got experience, yeah, I'm older and all those things. He compliments me in that way. So we complement each other.
I think with experience also comes humbleness, because you learn. I mean, you're tapping into different energies for 40 years. Come on, imagine how many people goes through your head and stuff like that. So I hear you when you say that. But the problem that I find with entrepreneurs. And maybe with young ones that are still going into the business, they're thinking that it's gonna just happen like that tomorrow, and then they're driving a 4-pipe car, and then he's building a house. That is why when that threshold comes, whereby now I can't provide for this and I can't provide for that, and then they become very in that space that say, no, I'm a failure and stuff like that?
There is, you know why it's like that?
Yeah.
You will notice when you start something, it's business for starters. You can't just go in and fold heads.
No.
You go in and do it. That's number one.
Get your hands dirty.
Get your hands dirty. You go in and do it. Then once you've done it, you then transfer the skill. So that is why it's very important now. When it comes to funding, you will see that it comes out. They will ask you, if you're not here, who's in charge?
Oh, yes.
It's very important. So you have to transfer the skill.
Of course.
From doing it, transfer the skill. Train your people. Make sure that you understand. Make sure they understand the culture. You've got so many cultures in the organization. You've got quality culture, you've got performance culture, you've got this culture. So you have to go there, bring them to that level of understanding.
I always tell people that, Mr. Batyi, that business is not a Western culture. We grew in business. Our household we are raised in a business environment. It's just that we don't really pay attention to details. And last time when I had another entrepreneur sitting on this hot chair, I was saying, I often look around the environment that I was raised in. All the business that I grew up on knowing and seeing, today they are no more in Ga-Rankuwa. Because I think it was the same thing that you tapped on. They didn't transfer the skills to the children or to somebody else who could have actually, and I can name those businesses even now, whereby I'm like, I'm actually shocked because they are not there, and they used to be our pillar strength.
Speaking of that,
yes, sir.
You can even go to my incubation center and ask the people who used to report me how I used to do things.
Yes.
Every year, I had a section, induction, called induction training. Every year, I had a session for them for 2 days.
For 2 days.
Day one is the first team, day two is the second team.
Okay.
That session was specifically designed to change
the mindset. To change the mindset.
You need to change the mindset of the youngsters, the way they look at things. I used to come up with 5 KPIs. I always tell them, an organization with more than 5 KPI, you're wasting your time. You look at safety, quality, cost, maintenance, what else?
Yeah.
The performance. Those are the 5 KPI. Why would you have 8, 16?
No,
you're wasting time. It's too much. So that's what I used to explain to this employee, I mean, it was youngsters. So, and they said to me, one day they said to me, Sipho, your induction training was very educative. Every time they see me, they say they missed that. Because I used to tap in on cost. I said, you need to save as a person. The business also need to save. We used to talk about service delivery.
Yes.
I used to tell them, if you don't deliver at home, you're not going to be able to deliver in my business.
You're right.
Because you're not balancing things.
No, you're right.
So, the moment you don't deliver here, you're frustrated, you're going to come and bring your frustration. I'm going to dismiss you.
Yeah.
Because you're frustrated.
From home.
From home. You're not doing your job. So, do your job there, and you will do my job on my side. Everything balances.
Yeah, I think now if we actually did maths at school, they said what you do on the left-hand side, you do it on the right-hand side. So I think that policy, it will never die, it will never go away. It's just that some people, they just don't know how to apply the forces of nature. Yeah. And I mean, obviously Newton law rule says the gravitational force, what goes up must come down. And whatever the money that you put in a business, you have to see the results. But now I'm saying, we got like 5 minutes to go, and when you're having fun, time flies. Yeah. I'm asking myself this question to say, I know that it's difficult to be a business person when you're not, applying all the rules. I've been taking notes. You were talking about experience, and that's one thing that I thought to myself, I want to speak about it last.
Yeah.
The biggest frustration in South Africa in the whole sort of cycle of employment, it's every time when you try to knock on the door, they say, before they open that peep door, they say, where's your experience? And they cannot even touch the door handle. So how do we go around that?
It's simple.
It's simple.
You have to lower your standard. To gain experience, you have to lower your standard. There's no way you want to be there. It's not practical.
It's not practical.
I started breaking stones. I had a qualification, but I was breaking stones.
Nice.
You see, that's where all things start. The reason why I'm saying you have to lower your standard is because some people, they get a qualification, they get a metric. I said, I've got metric, I can't be sweeping on the street. you will never gain experience.
No, you'll never.
I once traveled to Japan. In Japan, their graduates start from Broming, sweeping in the mall. A qualified person sweeping in the mall. That's one kind. That's how they do it. Then you grow up like that. By the time you are in that position, you will know exactly what decision to take when it comes to cleaners, when it comes to that level, when it comes to that level. That's what experience does.
Yeah, no, I hear you 100%. I've never seen a person climbing their house starting at the roof.
That is the reality.
You gotta have a step ladder
You
and climb one step at a time.
The ground is first the ground.
Exactly.
We have to work the ground, the foundation. We have to work the foundation. When that foundation is solid, you will rise.
And you know what I said? I like what you said. And you know, I was talking to somebody yesterday to say the foundation, even if when you put on the foundation, when you build a house, you don't build the next minute.
No.
You let it dry. You let it become like solid.
Yes.
So if your foundation is solid, you can build anything on it.
You can build anything. So in our space, we want to go to work, find a job, right? And then there's a garden boy. Until right now, in our township, there's gardens to be done. But you'll find that people leave the garden, they go to the town to find a job. I started in the garden, the neighborhood. I used to do garden in my neighborhood. At the age of 12, in the farm, I grew up in the farm. In the farm, I used to work, I used to dip the cows. I used to get paid for 200 rand at the age of 12. And then from there, everything sort of came together as I'm moving along.
But this become a culture in your DNA that you built, and you're willing to do that. But I think that there's so much it's to offer around us. We just don't see it. We're looking far.
We're looking far. People who want to get paid big, man. It's not gonna work that way. Start with the garden. Your neighbor has got a garden. I'm telling you right now. You can go to your neighbor. You'll see the garden.
It's there.
Yeah. People, they don't want to start there and say, you know what? Let me clean my neighbor's garden.
Why would I clean my neighbor's garden? Because everybody's going to be talking about me. Because that's just one thing.
That's the thing now. That means your standard is high.
I cannot even go and paint your house because they're going to say, "Woo, Joe, he's painting houses now." I standard is
Yes, you have to. You know what? I went through bad and good myself, personally, and I changed my life. At one stage, I used to stay in suburbs. At one stage, I ended up back to township. And that is the reality of life.
It is.
You have to switch. If your wage is here, you stay in that bracket. Yeah. That's it. Why would you go up but your wage is here? It's a reality of things.
Mr. Batyi, thank you so much for your time, for your knowledge, for parting, so much experience with us and stuff like that. I just want to find out, please tell us, where does a person find you in terms of your social media, in terms of where your company's at, and stuff like that. Probably some of the people, they think, no, this is more like a story that we're trying to draw in a studio. But in reality...
okay, let me put it this way. In reality, we just type in the Sipho Batyi. It's like everything just pops out. I'm all over the show.
Absolutely.
One of the things, just before we part ways, with my friends and mates and all that,
yes,
I've noticed every area where I am, I've got it. That's why I said I had so many names. You know me as Sipho. In other areas, they know me as Batyi.
Okay.
In other areas, they know me as Professor. I've got so many names in that way.
Okay.
So I always say to people, look, in Pretoria, I'm known as Sipho. But don't be surprised when somebody calls me Prof when I'm passing you. He's the same person.
It's the same person.
It's just that it's different environment. In that environment, I'm calling that name. In the other environment, I'm calling that name. But I'm all over, basically. You can Google me. You can, everywhere. Everybody, they know me very well by now.
But thank you so much for your time. Thank you so much for taking your time and spend it with us today. Yeah. And I really hope that your business thrives. And I hope that people who are listening at home will definitely, get something out of what you said today. And if they cannot do that, they can always go to they can always go to search for your name. They can always come to Ga-Rankuwa FM and to watch this podcast, because we're gonna put this podcast out and make sure that people can also see you for the next generation to come. Because of that's what's so nice about technology. And you know, things that they don't get, you know, they really don't, you know, they become useful for the next coming few years. So I really thank you so much, Sipho, and Professor, I thank you so much. I've learned that name now. so Prof, thank you so much. We really appreciate you so much. And thanks for making, you know, our questions so lightly, and you know, you made me understand entrepreneurship in another level. And on that note, I really want to thank you. And go well, and God bless you.
Thank you, sir.
Pleasure.